What's up, YouTube? We're back with another video. I appreciate all the love you guys shown on the last one. I know it was a bit of a long one, the longest video I've ever made. Sorry it was so long, but now we're continuing with the xB. We have to dial this shit in. Now on the last episode, come this way. On the last episode, we left off with the car starting. Now it started, but there was still a fuel leak from the fuel pressure regulator. So all the way down here, I got the fuel pressure regulator. Now we have our main feed line, which comes from here, goes through the fuel rail, and it comes out of here and into it. And then through the bottom, we have the return. Now, the one issue where it's leaking from, it looks like when I put the block off plate on the other side, I didn't wrap it with like that little thin tape. So it's leaking from there. We have to replace that, wrap it up with the tape, and then it should be good. Shouldn't leak. And then the other thing is our fuel cell isn't really tied down right now, which is kind of sketch. So our fuel cell, obviously you guys already know, first stance xB with a fuel cell. But yeah, fuel cell, it's not tied down. We can't really go down the street with that. So we have to tie it down. I need to triple check all of the lines, make sure that there's no leaks. And then I need to go through, remove the OEM lines and the OEM fuel rail. And then after that, we should be good to take this bitch on the drive. Now, I'm fucking excited, okay? I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to mob. Let's go. Now, I already went to the junkyard and got the new one. I need a new radiator, which comes in 2 days. But for you guys, it's going to be in a few clips, so don't leave the video, okay? We're going to drive the xB today, or in this video. Yeah, so the main coolant line that I cut was this one, which basically connects from the radiator, the main radiator hose, to the head, to here, and then it tees off back to the radiator and to the coolant reservoir. Now on an xB, there's no way to fill up a radiator. The radiator fills up from the reservoir. So this is the main line. We need this. Ooh, delicioso. All right, and then we just need to disconnect this one. That works. There. Boom. Now, keep your rubber hoses, okay? Because you never know when you're going to need a rubber. If you know what I mean. Boom. All right. Now, eventually we'll need to zip tie this, but I need to replace the radiator first. So, we're just going to leave that there for now and start working on the fuel pressure regulator. Water, please. How many of you guys think that I should delete the cowl? Okay. I think without the cowl, because I don't have wipers, the car looks so fucking look at how much space I have. Look at all the engine. Like, this shit looks fire. If we could just keep it like this, honestly, I think it would be dope. The only downside is just water and shit gets in here, and eventually that could damage all your electronics and that kind of stuff. So maybe we make a custom one-of-one plate that goes from here to the hood type of thing, so it kind of blocks it, kind of like a little spoiler. No? So maybe like this. Wait. So then, you know how people do duck bills? We'll do a duck cowl. So we'll connect it to here, but it'll kind of go from here and it'll slide up. I just don't know how it'll work, because then you'd have to open the hood. So then it might but that's a cool idea. Basically, this is what I got. Now, I think I got this from the Max Speeding Rod Turbo Kit. So shout out to you, Macy, at Max Speeding Rods, and shout out to Max Speeding Rods, okay? I think this is the only place where it's leaking from. If it's not leaking from this one, then it's leaking from the return line. But to be honest, it was making good pressure. I think we were at maybe 3. I don't know if this counts as PSI or whatever, but the fuel gauge, or the gauge, was at 3. So we were at 3 something. All right, so all we're gonna do is do this little block off. We're gonna wrap with this. Now, I don't know if this is the right thing you would wrap it with. I'm assuming you're gonna wrap it with something you would wrap like a fucking rubber hose or something like that. So this looks kind of like it'll do something. So we're gonna wrap it and see if it works. I asked Master Mechanic Pro Max, my dad, and he said this should work. So if he's wrong, then discredit him and, you know, and his build. I feel like this is really thin, okay? And I have absolutely no faith in this. But you know, I'm just a DIY guy, okay? So I'm learning as I go. So every video, I'm doing something that I probably have never done before. Like this. Fuel system, if you would have talked to me about 2 years ago about me doing an entire fuel system, I would have probably told you that you're a little fucking crazy. But yeah, back to the video. Let's fucking get this shit done. Let's see if it fucking screws. It's screwed in. I honestly don't know how much pressure I'm supposed to have in here, so we'll probably ChatGPT that shit in a little bit, but for now. Alright, now we did that. So technically, radiator is still cracked, so we can't let this shit heat up. Meaning, we could turn it on for a couple seconds to see if there's any fuel leaks, but then we have to turn it right off. So I think it's time we turn this little bitch on. Alright, you ready? You want to hear it? You want to hear this bitch roar? Ragga-ding, 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 ragga-ding. Now, from what you guys have seen, the fuel pump is right here. Of course, we have a positive terminal and a negative terminal. The negative could go anywhere on the chassis, so that I'm not too worried about. I actually am going to do a battery relocation eventually, so I already had these cables there. What we're going to do is tighten it there, put a washer and a nut, and then we will probably just put it somewhere like here or somewhere easily accessible. The positive, that is the one that I am going to wire to the OEM fuel pump. Now the main reason I'm going to do that is because I don't want to have to worry about flipping a switch for my fuel pump to turn on. I just want to turn the key to the on position and the fuel pump turns on. I want it to turn on like the original one. Makes it easier, makes it more OEM, I guess. So for that one, I actually have a positive terminal, which is a little bit longer. This one should reach to the wiring of the OEM fuel pump. I just have to figure out which cable I'm going to cut into. So we need to figure out which cable gets power when you turn the key to the on position. And then that way we should be able to just splice into that one, cut this, throw a little bit of heat shrink, and call it a day. So first thing we're going to do is figure out which wire we need to cut into for the positive. So let's go up front, plug the battery in, put the key to the on position, and then I'm going to come back here and start testing out wires. Let's go. Let me get in here. Fuck. All right, so fairly simple. The XB has one plug that has 4 different ones. So we're going to connect this to a negative, and we should see which has power and which one does not. This one doesn't have any, and this one is a constant 12. Now this constant 12 we're not going to use because then that would mean the fuel pump is always staying on. So we just got to see which of the other 3 turn on when we turn the key to the on position. All right, so this is the one that had constant power. So let's plug this in. Dang, man, I miss these stars, boy. All right. What's the other one that gets power? See, so this one turns off, which is good. Nothing. None of them. What the fuck? Alright, so it's sprinkling a little bit. That's why I'll have all these rags here in case it does decide to pour. But the new radiator came in, so all we gotta do is empty out the coolant in this one, take this off so we can remove the radiator. Now, if you guys are liking these longer style videos, please hit the like and leave a comment down below letting me know that you like them. But now, let's get back to the video. You know, if the engine bay could be like this empty, that would be fucking fire. But no radiator, no fans, that's kind of sketch, but it would be dope. So now we got the OEM one in here. We gotta take it apart. Alright, so I know you can't really tell, but the new one is on there. And that is the hose we had broken. Put it all back together. I had to re-watch the clip to make sure I put it right. And let's just put it back into the box. Boom, boom. And you throw this one here. All right, so we finally took off the fuel line and the evap lines, which is a bunch of bullshit, but I just ended up cutting it off. So this is the fuel neck, the evap connector hose back in the back, and then the fuel line and evap line. So now there is no fuel rail here, no evap line here, and then for the throttle body, I just put a bolt and a clamp to hold the evap. That way it's not leaking. Other than that, right now we're gonna wire the fuel pump, which I kind of already started, but I took my power wire from the amp for the sub that I had and cut that, put a fuse, we'll put that to the battery. From there, we will go back into this shit. So the original wiring obviously has 4 cables, which the sending unit is in here, and then you have the positive, negative, and the positive for the fuel pump. So this green one is the positive for the fuel pump. We're gonna, as you guys can see, it's already cut. We're gonna splice into that one and connect it with a relay to the fuel pump. So basically, black is ground. This red one's gonna go to that, to the red from the fuel pump. Then you're gonna put this blue one to the red wire that we are sending from the battery, and this white goes to that green one. Basically, all that's gonna do is gonna send extra power to the fuel pump. That way, when I turn on the car and crank it, it does it like OEM, and we don't have to like flip a switch or any weird shit. All right, so we're basically almost done. We connected the battery positive onto the relay. We connected the white to the signal switch from the OEM harness. We did the blue to the battery, red to the red positive, which will go on to the fuel pump. And we have started making the ground. Now the ground, I'm going to use the exact same one for the fuel pump and for the relay, just to make it easier. That way we don't have to find 2 different grounds. And then once that's ready, we should be good to at least have the fuel pump turn on every time we turn on the car. All wired up, and then the fucking harness and everything is all wired up. We'll clean this up in a second, but we just want to make sure it at least turns on.
I'm gonna go higher.
No?
Higher.
It went? Okay. All right, it's official. We're going on a test drive. Everything is kind of put together. It's not said and done, but you know, it should be driving. We shall see. I don't know, man. I'm kind of nervous. Kind of nervous. This shit been down for like 5 fucking months, bro. Let's see how it do. You want to hold this? All right, so as you guys seen last clip, we pulled over because we seen smoke inside, and it is leaking mad fucking oil. Okay, oil all over here on the fucking exhaust, the valve cover. There's oil even over here, and then back here looks like there's a fuel leak because the injector wiring is all wet. Other than that, right now it says there are 7 codes. So fingers crossed. I'm not sure what it could be, but we're gonna figure it out. And this bitch gonna be ours. Alright, so that's gonna be it for today's video. As you guys saw, we took the XB on our first test drive. It's still not dialed and we have a lot of things to figure out. I'm just glad the car didn't catch fire. It could have been way worse. We got it back in the driveway. We'll pick back up next week. If you guys are liking the series and are glad to see the XB back on the channel, hit the like, subscribe down below, and we'll be back on the next one. Peace.